Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 163. Tesla continues to dominate in many markets. Price cut seems to be working. And the price war continues in China, and we also see the old boys' car sales plummet. But Ford shows some big balls this week as they open up their financials of their EV business for everyone to see. And the German finance minister criticized France's showdown of the ICE ban. And the new CEO of Toyota seems not be able to save Toyota as he will still prioritize hydrogen. And the Boring Company wants to expand this Las Vegas loop to nearly twice the size of the originally planned. And Ford reveals their new EV, the Ford Explorer. And what do you know? Moody's has finally changed Tesla's rating. All of this and much, much more on today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
So Tesla continues to dominate in many markets. The price cut seems to be working. In the last week's news show, I showed how Tesla has already beaten the entire Volkswagen Group in sales of BEVs in Norway. But Tesla didn't stop there. Last Sunday, while all the other dealership was closed, it didn't sell any new vehicles, Tesla was still hard at work. And Tesla delivered 228 cars that day. And no one else delivered anything, giving Tesla 100% market share that day. So sharing this just because it was a bit of fun one day does not really tell us anything, but it did show us that Tesla is working 7 days a week, while the others that are trying to catch up doesn't. So I don't really think they will be able to catch up ever, as they don't work as hard or as much as Tesla does. But if we zoom out a bit and look at March in Norway in general, we can see that Tesla is completely dominating in Norway. And we have to remember that the critics did say that Tesla would have trouble staying ahead in Norway, as Tesla's demand in Norway is saturated due to BEV penetration and already high market share of Tesla. But as usual, Tesla's critics find themselves being wrong, as Tesla is pulling away from all the other automotive groups in the country and have a 36% market share right now. But even with the numbers we have now in all of Europe, Tesla sits on about 20% market share, and the Model Y is selling about 4 times as much as the runner-up. And Tesla continues to gain on the Volkswagen Group, as we can see Volkswagen led in January by a huge margin, then Tesla gained on them in February, and then here in March Tesla is leading by a huge margin. Could be a very close race here in Q1, and let's see if anyone can keep up with Tesla for the rest of the year as Tesla gets momentum at their Berlin factory. Because sales in general have recovered here in Europe over the last 7 months, as we once again saw the European sales rise 12% up to over 900,000 units in February. So 7 months of straight increase in sales of new cars as EV demand surge. Sales of fully electric vehicles surged 34%, expanding more than any other type of powertrain. So this bodes very well for Tesla in Europe. Their model are leading the way, and Tesla is actually gaining on the Volkswagen Group itself here in Europe, and the new car sales are strong right now. It can of course change, but for the time being, Tesla looks very strong in Europe. And if we look at March in the 4 countries in Europe that gives us daily deliveries, we can clearly see that the one pulling away is Tesla. Looks like these price cuts have done their work, even though some so-called analyst says Tesla has a demand problem in Europe. Well, look at this chart James shared this week from the top 10 premium BEVs sold here in Europe in 2022. What competition! There is literally Tesla and everyone else. And Tesla is not done in Europe. Even though Tesla wants to smooth out the delivery waves, there will of course be some waves, as many cars still comes from China. And in Portugal we saw a tsunami of Tesla coming in. And I was at the delivery center here in my city in Aarhus, and it was so full there was nowhere to park a car. So we will probably see a big push in sales here in Europe in the last week of the quarter. And we should be able to surf the internet without anyone stealing our data, but that is unfortunately not the case. It is very easy to get hacked, as simple as pushing a button really. That is why I always use VPN security, so no hacker or internet provider can see or steal my data. And all my data is encrypted, from the emails I send to the pictures, my banking details, so I can get on with my work and don't have to worry about my online security. And that is why I have partnered up with today's sponsor, Private Internet Access, PIA. That is a world-leading VPN provider and the most trusted VPN provider in the world, as their VPN is 100% open source and their code is public available, so anyone can take a look under the hood and examine just how secure and private their service really is. Almost no other VPN is this transparent, so no wonder they have over 30 million downloads. Private Internet Access is a US-based VPN provider known for one of the biggest server bases in the entire world, almost 30,000 servers. Speaks for themselves. Private Internet Access hides your IP address, encrypt your internet connection. This way it shields your digital life, which is only getting more and more important, as today we have pretty much everything on our computers and smartphones. And PIA works on any device from computers to smartphones, and it works on all major streaming services, so you have unrestricted access to all your favorite content anywhere in the world, which is very nice. So as sport events like the Formula 1 World Championship are happening right now, but depending on where you live, you might not have access to see it, but thanks to Private Internet Access you can. Just turn on AU Australia Streaming Optimized Server. Go to 10play website and you will be able to watch all the races for free. With a VPN provider like Private Internet Access, you can be anywhere that you want to be on the planet digitally. And the best part is that you can use one Private Internet Access subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices at the same time. And I have a great deal for you. By using my link down below, you will get 83% discount on Private Internet Access. That is just a little over $2 a month for your online security, making this a no-brainer. Plus, you will also get 4 months for free. So don't wait, sign up for Private Internet Access today, as it is completely risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer service available if you should ever need it. So click the link down below to get the online privacy we all deserve. And a big thanks to Private Internet Access for sponsoring this video. And the price war continues in China, and we also see the old boys' car sales are plummeting. So Ford has cut about $6,000 off its Mustang Mach-E until the end of April. The standard version of the battery-powered SUV is going for as low as $31,000, but Ford was forced to do this, as only 84, not thousands, just 84 of the Mach-E were sold in China last month, industry data shows, down from around 1,500 in December. So as this is pretty much the only EV Ford has in China, Ford in February sold 84 units of EVs in China, where Tesla sold about 34,000 domestic in China. It actually makes Tesla sales numbers in Hong Kong look even better, where Tesla sold in February 1,737 units just in Hong Kong, and that was 3 times more than the runner-up. But that was still more EVs sold in just that city than what Ford was able to sell in their peak month of December of 1,500 units. So Ford is still struggling, just like the Germans in China. But the price war might be getting a little boost in the coming month, as dealers of gas-powered cars want to get clear of roughly 500,000 vehicles in their inventory, which include older models that won't meet tighter emission standards due to take effect here in July. And the same issue is actually true here in Europe as well. So this will have huge implications for the auto market, as there might be millions of cars that need to be sold now. So they of course want to get these old cars out of the door as soon as possible so they don't get stuck with these cars that no one wants to buy by the end of this year. So dealers are also getting under big pressure from the price war that Tesla started. So we will probably see the price of cars drop in general, not just EVs, but it will all put pressure on the overall car market, especially in China. But we do see Tesla is still climbing domestically sales in China. As we can see last week, they sold about 19,000 units in just a week, according to the insurance data anyway. So Tesla is still heading for a new sales record in China, while Ford is still struggling just to sell a couple of hundred EVs in a month. So once again, it is not Tesla that has a demand problem in China. And we did actually hear rumors about BYD might also be struggling a bit, as it is selling their new cars to dealers or affiliate companies at a steep discount, which then after insurance registrations dump them into the used car market. But this is all rumors, so take it with a grain of salt. But the rumors also said that BYD asked some of the workers at their Xi'an plant, its biggest manufacturing hub, to work only 4 days a week in the factory, running 2 8-hour shifts per day. But we do have to remember that BYD is big in China and nowhere else just yet. So if they see demand shrink just a little bit in China, it can have big effect on their sales numbers. So we should be able to see if some of this holds true in the coming quarters, as they cannot keep up their very high sales numbers in China by just selling to affiliate companies. This will show in their numbers in the coming quarters if their sales domestically in China are under pressure. So something to keep an eye on. But we might already be able to see the trend if we look at the insurance data that Ronan is also very good at sharing on Twitter. We can see that yes, Tesla is heading upwards in domestic sales in China, but we can also see the trend of the other Chinese brand here, including BYD, that their sales does seems to be going down a bit, just as we see with NIO, Xpeng and Zeekr. So Tesla is actually going against the trend in China, where the auto market might be in a bit of trouble, but Tesla is still rising, just so impressive. But even the Chinese Association of Automobile Automakers, CAAM, was out saying the hype about this round of price cuts in China's automotive industry should be cooled down as soon as possible, so the industry can return to normal operation and ensure healthy and stable development through the year. So CAAM is out saying, please stop all price cuts. And CAAM is most of the Chinese automakers and most of the Western automakers as well, except Tesla, of course. That is out saying, please Tesla, don't do more price cuts, because no one can keep up with these price cuts and they are already losing money. So we are seeing quite the chaos in China right now, but Tesla seems to have no demand problem in China, but is actually heading for a new record. And the same goes for Europe, as we just talked about. So in the two markets that the short sellers said Tesla was doomed because of all the competition, Tesla is growing to new highs once again. And of course, in the US, no contest, as Tesla is not just leading the EV race, they are leading the overall premium segment, no matter propulsion. But Ford shows some big kahunas this week as they opened up their financials of their EV business for everyone to see. And yes, as we know, they are losing money, but I think it is more money than most people expected. Ford lost $2.1 billion on their EV business in 2022 on a sales of just 96,000 globally. So they have been losing about $22,000 per EV they sold. And as we just talked about, Ford has just cut the cost of the Marquis in China by $6,000. Money they don't have to cut prices with. So Tesla starting this whole price war is not so good for Ford and all the other legacy automakers. And Ford does not expect to earn any money on their EV business in 2023 either. They expect to lose about $3 billion in 2023. So that is about $5 billion in losses in just 2 years. Remember, Tesla only lost about $7 billion in the first 10 years and have made more than $18 billion in just the last 2 years. But Tesla in 2022 earned about $12,000 in EBIT per car sold, and Ford lost about $22,000 in EBIT per car sold. So in 2022, there was a difference between Tesla's EVs and Ford EVs about $34 $34,000 in EBIT. So yes, Mach-E is in the same segment as the Model Y, but it is not a competition when it cost Ford $34,000 more to make their EVs. Tesla has a huge cost advantage here that no one else in the market have, and Ford EBIT margin actually declined from -29 in 2021 to -40 in 2022. So even though Ford's EVs rised in price in 2022, they lost more money on EVs sold. But Ford losing money on their EVs was kind of expected, but interesting to see just how badly the legacy automakers are bleeding right now, as I expect GM, Volkswagen and all the other guys having the same kind of financials on their EVs as Ford. Or this will of course be a very good time for them to come out and show us if this is not so. But big props to Ford for opening this up, and Ford is out saying that the Model E should be seen as a startup, and startup loses money. Ford also said that scale will be the biggest contributor to how they will get to their target of 8% gross margin by the end of 2026, when they get to 2 million EVs in production run rate. So also keep this in mind, it is not 2 million EVs produced in 2026 as we first thought, but by the end of 2026 they expect to have a run rate of 2 million, just like Tesla today has a run rate of 2 million. But if we compare this to an actual startup like Tesla back in 2017, when they had around 100,000 in production as well, Tesla got to this 2 million run rate in late 2022, so in 5 years. And Ford wants to beat that by scaling from about 100,000 to 2 million in run rate in just 4 years. And remember, Tesla is still the fastest growing large manufacturer in history, and Ford wants to beat that. So to do this faster than what Tesla has done seems like maybe more than they can chew. No, they can't just use the old factories, they have to refurbish them to make EVs, and we have seen both Ford and other automakers take a year or two to do this for just one factory. So making a ramp, as we have seen Tesla do, will be a hard one to beat, especially when Jim also shared this little video of their Blue Oval City factory that will be building the next EV truck. With a whole year of construction, they are not even done with setting up the iron skeleton of the factory. So they are not even close to building a factory as fast as Tesla is. And Tesla's next generation factory that will build way more cars than Ford factory here will be up and running in 9 months from when they start construction. Because Tesla has also designed the factory and how it's being built themselves. But even though they want to grow as fast as Tesla, they only expect less than half the margin on their EV business. So this is a really good showcase of just how hard it is for the legacy automakers, losing tens of thousands of dollars per EV they sell, and don't even think they will ever get to Tesla's level of profits. But they want to scale faster than what even Tesla did. Call me skeptic, but that seems like a very big mountain to climb. But so nice that Ford has opened this up, as this just gave us such a great insight into how the legacy automakers are actually doing, and put some pressure on someone like GM to show us their hand, because they are no doubt even worse off, as they only made about half the EVs Ford did in 2022, not counting in the little Wuling mini EV. But Ford opening up their business really just killed the argument that the old boys could just ramp up EVs like it was nothing. Even Ford sees the Model E as a startup. They start from scratch, but unlike the real EV startup, the legacy guys, they have a huge ship of ICE cars that is sinking at the same time. This will likely not look good in only a couple of years. And we got the French fighting against the Germans that are fighting against the ban of the ICE cars and want to get e-fuels in there as well. If you remember in last week's news show, I talked about how the Germans made an alliance with Italy to fight against the 2035 ban of ICE cars in Europe, and only wanted to stay in if e-fuel was allowed, but the stupidity continues this week, as the German finance minister Christian Lindner said France's objection to the plan by Germany and Italy to allow e-fuel after 2035 ignores the increasing cost of electric cars. What? He continues, Linear said that by supporting the proposed ban in its current form, France is not fully taking into account the battery electric car are more expensive than ICE cars. This will make mobility less affordable for many people after combustion cars are banned. Christian, you are making an utterly fool of yourself. Did you not see Tesla Investor Day? Oh, probably not. But Tesla will cut their cost of EVs in half. And they start production of that car by the end of 2024 or the start of 2025. And they already just lowered their current models by as much as 20%. So by 2035, 10 years after Tesla comes out with the car that cost Tesla and maybe something like $16,000 to $18,000 to build, you think the price of an EV will be sky high? Are you completely mad, my friend? Lindner's comments come after France's Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire said that the EU must stick to the planned ban. We are ready to fight on this as it is an environmental mistake and an economic mistake. Yes, Bruno, my man, you get it. The Germans, not so much. They are just trying to fight to keep their falling ice business alive and don't even seem to understand that e-fuel also spit out toxic gases in our faces. Or don't care, which would be even worse. As Porsche CEO Oliver Blume says, e-fuel as a carbon-free way of driving combustion engine cars such as the iconic 911 into the future. No, into the ground, my friend. E-fuel still costs about $120 per gallon. Like to see who would be stupid enough to buy that one. And you're worried about EVs being too expensive. And it uses about 6 times the amount of energy to make it, as if you just use that energy to power your EV. This is stupidity beyond belief. It's even worse than the hydrogen car. And Audi CEO is also out fighting against the Euro 7 law, saying we need more time. No. Transport and Environment has been fighting this for 30 years, and all you guys have been doing is fighting back for 30 years. Just look at the great progress that Volkswagen has done in 60 years. None. You have known this was coming for 30 years. Of course, you have been fighting it against it for 30 years, thinking the auto industry was too powerful and would never let this happen, as T&E's former director Joe Dings experienced back in 2005 when a leading figure in the European Automobile Manufacturing Association said to him about the new emission standard that T&E wanted to get in place. You know, I really like the case you're making and I can see the sense in what you want to achieve. But this is something that we, as a car industry, can never accept. And you have to understand, if we can't accept it, it won't happen. That was in 2005. So you guys have had 20 years. So don't come crawling now and try to tell us you need more time. No, time is up. And sorry, German politician and automakers, I just can't root for you anymore. You have been lying and cheating for so many years. You only care about your profits and you want to fight the ban that is making our future better with cleaner air in our cities. Shame on you. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. And we have had this limbo some Tesla customers have been in since Tesla removed the ultrasonic sensors from the Tesla Model 3 and Y, but the software that should take over and measure the distance to close objects was not ready. So that feature was not available for those customers, but Green the Only shared on Twitter that this would be coming now, with the release which included the latest full self-driving beta version 11.3.2 rolled out. For those cars without the ultrasonic sensors, the update also included Tesla's Vision Park Assist. The red and orange lines that is usually only in the front or the rear of the car is now extended down the side of the Tesla as well. As Tesla explained in the release note, it detects objects 360 degrees around the car. So sure, it has been missing and it was not good, but now the car with Vision will be even better than those with ultrasonic sensors, as this system also detects how far you are from the other cars on the side of the car. And we also got this little video of Tesla's vision accuracy of parking assist without any sensors.
18 inches. Let's park right here. That does appear to be pretty accurate, actually, surprisingly accurate. So if the car was detecting this curb right here, it's actually just a little bit further than 18 inches, which is really good. Pretty impressive so far.
What do you know? It works. Yes, Tesla could have timed it better with the removal of the sensors and the software being ready, but now, with an over-the-air update, all will be good. And the new CEO of Toyota, Koji Sato, will prioritize hydrogen even as the company steps up EVs. So just as we were crossing our fingers that Toyota could make it with the new CEO turning the ship around, he goes out and says Toyota will prioritize hydrogen cars. Like I said in my videos about this before, the Japanese government is pushing hard for hydrogen, so the Japanese OEMs kind of have to do hydrogen as well as EVs. So this will slow them down and waste time and money, both which they don't have. So I have to disagree with Sandy Monroe on Toyota. I still think Toyota will become the next Nokia, even with this new CEO. And Joe Takma shared some nice photos of the SpaceX facility in Bastrop, Texas, where the SpaceX building is almost complete, and we could see the second bowling tunnel emerging near the main entrance. So it's going to be very exciting to see what this is all about. And as Elon wrote on Twitter, we are close to using neural network all the way from image space to vector space to control. Oh yes, this is the single stack to rule them all, and they are all on the way to do just that. And Javua made a fun little jab at Volkswagen, but actually very telling. As they wrote, inspired by Volkswagen, we have been busy designing our first ever electric vehicle, announcing the Javura Renda. 600 miles of range, $50,000, 10 minutes charge to 80%. It's made in Taiwan. Expected launch is 31st of March 2032, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Design is subject to change. That's just so funny, because this is actually what the old guys are doing, showing off a lot of concept cars that will never see the light of day. And UBS analyst Patrick Hummel interviewed Volkswagen's chief finance officer Arno, and Patrick said that he was very skeptic that Volkswagen could bring a $25,000 EV to market that is profitable in only a couple of years. And the only real answer Arno gave was that we will have significant scale by then. So Volkswagen has not made some innovation in manufacturing, got their production time down, cut costs through the entire company, as Tesla just spent 3 hours showing us at Investor Day. Only economy of scale, nothing else. So yeah, call me a skeptic, but I don't see how Volkswagen will be able to bring this concept EV they showed off last week to market with a profit. And what do you know? Moody's has finally changed Tesla's rating to Baa3. As Moody wrote, the rating action reflects Moody's expectation that Tesla will remain one of the foremost manufacturers of battery electric vehicles with an extended global presence and very high profitability. Yes, as we have been saying for years, but I guess better late than never. Still only Baa3, which is the lowest for the investment grade, but one up from the Ba1 it had before, the highest in the junk rating. But they will learn that Tesla should already be an AAA rating. And we also saw a new edge case for full self driving, people hanging on the side of a truck. And Ford revealed their new electric Ford Explorer that you can order now and will start delivering by the end of this year or start next year, but it's only for Europe, and it will be made in Europe as well. And at first glance it looks good, nice design, nothing to complain about, both inside and outside looks nice. But unfortunately this Ford is not built on Ford's own EV platform. So not built like the Mach-E or the Ford F-150 Lightning. Underneath is Volkswagen's MEB platform. I have to agree with Facade on this one. I mean, the Mach-E and Ford F-150 Lightning are two very capable EVs, and the Ford F-150 has this very impressive power trunk. And the Marquis has some very nice specs, but we know the Explorer will not even have a frunk. It's still built on the MEB platform, and the MEB platform is not making fun cars with great specs, so I don't expect this car to have some fun acceleration or fast charging. It is just an ID4 in disguise, but I do prefer the look of this one, so maybe this will even be more competition for Volkswagen's own EVs in the same class. But this should accelerate Ford's plan in Europe by 2 years, so it's probably the right thing to do, just a little bit boring. And speaking of Ford, they still have trouble with their quality, as Ford recalls more than 1.3 million Fusion, Lincoln, MKZ cars globally for brakes defect. Yeah, but it's Tesla that has qualities issue, right? Sure. And Tesla's impact on Mexico can already be felt long before they actually open their Mexico Gigafactory. Jordan DeWard, president of logistic operator Redwood Mexico, told FreightWaves, after Tesla moved to Austin 2 years ago, many of their Tier 1 and Tier 2 suppliers either moved to Mexico to start new factory operations or greatly increase the size and scope of current operations. The Tesla plant is going to cause much more freight between Texas and Mexico, said George Canavati, a principal at San Antonio-based trade and logistic firm. In Monterrey, you will have various Tesla suppliers already there, and there are going to be much more. The regional impact is going to be just amazing. Very nice. And the Boeing company has submitted a new proposal to Las Vegas authorities that would see the Las Vegas loop expand to nearly twice the size than the original plan. You can see the old plan here in green, and the red is the new add-ons. Nice. And Sandy Monroe is looking at the Toyota BZ4X and saying, well, I guess they have to start somewhere.
I was hoping for more, but you know what? This is their Chevy Bolt.
Indeed.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we looked at the Chevy Bolt, and when did that come out? Like 5 years ago or something. And we were really impressed. And now we're kind of like, ooh, because it doesn't have a frunk and it doesn't have this and it doesn't have that. But they got to start somewhere, and I guess this is it. So.
I'm with you.
And Gigabaleen celebrated 1 year of vehicle production. Can't wait to see what they will be able to produce here in 2023 with the first full year of production. And Lucid seems to be giving up on software, as now every Lucid Air comes with Apple CarPlay, like your Dacia or your Peugeot. So, the same software as everyone else. So nothing premium about that. And before we end up with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest patrons and members of my YouTube channel. My new YouTube member, Jason Sylvester. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And a big and special thanks to Supporter of the Week. And this week's winner is Frank Zelensky, who has become a thank you for watching a YouTube member. Thank you so much for all your support. Please contact me on this email down below so I can get your address so I can send you your Supporter of the Week winner t-shirt. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. An example of the legacy automakers fighting against Tesla in the EV race. We all know who is the big boy in the EV race. That is all we have time for in this news show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it here on YouTube. And if you did enjoy it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And don't forget, if you want to become an executive producer and get news articles every day, Monday to Friday, video series becoming news, access to all my research and charts and spreadsheets, and becoming part of my little exclusive club of executive producers, head over to bestintesla.com and join with the members button. But hurry up, it will be limited to 100 members only. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.